We join the Super Legit crew before the show as we ask our guest a classic question. Did you have the opportunity to listen to any episodes of the show so you know the format?
No, I haven't got a chance to.
Perfect. All right, you're right in there with everyone else.
None of us have.
Yep. Is that like a laugh track?
No, that was me. Sorry about that.
That sounded insane.
Do you guys have my band practices?
Was that a NASCAR highlight reel?
Hey guys, is it going to fuck up the podcast if I listen to another podcast while we're recording the podcast?
It's the Super Legit Podcast, everyone. I am your host, Jarrett Lennon Kaufman, a.k.a. Jet. And let's rattle off real quick who our regulars are this week. We've got Jen Burton.
Hello.
We have Chris Sanders.
Oh, hi.
Sean Michael Boozer.
Hello, hello.
Chris Compton.
Didn't see you there.
Stephen C. James.
Greetings, neighbor.
And my co-host, Michael Heiman. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Jet. How are you?
I'm doing pretty darn well, thank you. I'm afraid to ask, but how are you, Michael?
I'm great. Why would you be so afraid to ask? That's a weird thing to be uncomfortable to ask.
Oh, that was a much better answer than I was.
Sorry.
Oh, God, no.
Oh,
no. Oh, my God, he's dead. Everyone, he's dead.
Now, we're recording this one about 4 years ahead of time, just to let you know.
Yes.
Yep. Michael Heiman, who is our guest for this week's episode? I'd love to hear.
Oh, Jet, I'm sure you would. Our guest this week is Reid. He is an improviser and teacher in Los Angeles. He was formerly the artistic director of the Acme Theater. Currently, you can see Derek teaching improvised hip-hop 101 at the Groundlings, where he can also be found playing in the Cooking with Gas show. And you can listen to him right now on the Super Legit Podcast.
Welcome,
Hello, everybody.
Derek.
Hey, what's up? So honored to be here with such illustrious improvisers. What's up, y'all?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm not sure which one of us you were pointing at, but I believe in them strongly.
All.
Ooh.
It's a group point.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Together, we're illustrious, like an improv Voltron.
That's right. Form of a comedy Zoom podcast.
Shape of bucket of water.
It's a very
I'm
natural
sorry.
transformation.
Yeah.
I form the enthusiastic jog onto stage.
I come in the form of a
I'm
sweep
the
edit.
reluctant edit.
Timing. Geez, it's so much harder on a podcast.
I'm the awkward timing, where we both make the same joke at the same time.
So Michael Heiman, what is our big question for this week's episode?
Oh, well, I'm sure you want to hear that too. It's comes from listener Tiberius Flandish, and the question is, what's your most memorable date, good or bad?
That's a good one. I always remember my first date with my wife, Laura, right? She tested me. She took us, she's like, we're going to go to a coffee house. And we were living in Pasadena at the time. So we went down Colorado Boulevard. There was like a coffee house. And there's these big giant paintings in the coffee house. It was very hip. It was like the early 2000s, right? Remember that time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very well.
Yeah. Okay,
But
right?
my hip days, I definitely remember my hip days.
hip days.
I
Absolutely.
remember the
Yeah.
art from the early 2000s.
Yeah, the art.
I
People
remember the days when my hip worked.
my hip worked and people did art, and she's like, what do you think of all these portraits at this coffee shop that we're at? And I was like, I don't know, because I was, in my 20s and I was like trying to be hip. So I was like, I don't know, kind of looks like a Van Gogh ripoff if you ask me.
Oh.
Now, of course,
Yeah. I'm guessing she's the artist.
she was the artist.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, there we
Yep.
go.
Yep.
Such a
Yeah.
loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
So, future
Yeah.
This is,
husband.
yeah. This is if someone asks you if you're a god kind of moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
You say yes.
Ray?
Yeah.
Say yes.
But of course, she responded, Van Gogh ripoff was exactly what I was going for.
Right.
I will marry you. That was
Yeah.
her next-
I'm wondering, how did you spin this?
I was like, that's that he's like the greatest artist ever. So being a ripoff,
yeah.
if somebody said, Derek, you're a Dave Chappelle ripoff, I'd be like, yes, and? Thank you.
You're right,
Got
right.
it.
Yep,
Next. So I was like, I tried to recover from that, but it didn't, needless to say, it was a long courtship.
Who's still working on recovering.
I'm still working on recovering. Yes, exactly.
Well, she married you, so congrats.
That is,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Even
I have to
despite
say,
that.
Yeah. That is a
That's-
test right off the bat. That is like.
It sure is.
Oh, my
fucking
goodness.
test.
That speaks volume for your recovery skills. Oh, my
Somebody
God.
was like upset. Somebody was upset with my
no.
joke.
Little child.
Yeah.
Hello. How are you?
No,
This is
everything's
one that
We got
okay.
two guests on this episode.
Oh, what
It's
a
past her
sweetie.
bedtime. It's fine. It's fine. I was kidding. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry.
She's
Who-
a sweetie.
Derek,
And we have a lot of parents here. They
Yeah.
Who
all
is this?
Yes.
understand.
Derek, who is this?
This is my daughter, Leia. She's, you're not used to me Zooming this late. She's like, why are you ignoring me?
You can just point at us.
I would love if
For
she
those of
held up a
you-
crayon stick figure and said, "Tell me, what do you think of this?"
She gets that side from her mother.
Guess what? Hitler drew it.
I am reminded of the time that, and Michael Heiman will remember this one vividly because he and I used to run a theater company together, and we would have a shorts festival every year.
Yes.
And people would submit these short plays to us, and we'd have these like committee meetings where we'd sit around reading the short plays and deciding whether or not we liked them. And there was one we read that I know I generally didn't like that much. I wasn't that enthused by it. It was fine. And I particularly it was full of like typos, just tons of typos and apostrophes and so on. And I commented afterwards as I didn't think it was that great. And it is just riddled with typos. And I'm looking around me and I'm noticing the eyes of all of the other board members of this group kind of averted from mine. And I'm like, what's going on? And finally one member of the group perks up and says, yeah, my boyfriend wrote that one. And he's dyslexic.
Oh, no. That's awkward.
And absolutely in the moment I'm everything drains from me. I'm like, how do I? And it's like, oh, well, in that case, he did a really impressive job with the writing, considering he was dyslexic. That was amazing.
I will, in your defense, Jet, you're looking at a piece of paper.
Yes.
And you are judging that piece of paper.
Yeah.
You're not like, hey, I'm looking at this and it's riddled with typos, which means that the person who wrote it is a bad person. And probably a bad boyfriend, and maybe a murderer. No, you just said it has a lot of typos. You were stating a fact.
And,
Thank you. Thank
and
you.
they were submitting it somewhere. You do get someone else to read it.
The other board member, and I will say this knowing that they might possibly be listening, is a shitty boyfriend for not proofreading it for the dyslexic boyfriend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
You
That's
should
clear
not
as
be
a point.
spell check shamed.
No.
Super.
I just can't thank you enough for agreeing to come on our first date to my place of employment. I just work a lot, and it's cool because we can still have that cup of coffee over the office Keurig. Yeah, I am a sperm bank accounter. I account for all of the sperm in the bank.
So does that mean you count all of the sperm?
Yes.
Like
I itemize and inventory all
each sperm.
the actually.
So this is all sperm, is what you're telling me?
Yeah,
all
this
these
wall.
jars?
This wall. Actually, wanted what you.
Hey, Glenn, heads up, catch.
Hey,
Hey, got one for you. Coming in hot.
Thanks. Lukewarm, body temp warm, but yeah.
Hey, you got it. All right. I'm going to head back up to the front. All right. Great job, Glenn.
All right.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
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 This is Barry.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Barry.
Hi, I'm Barry.
I'm
Sorry.
Janine.
Glenn,
Nice to meet you. I'm
I
going
did not
on a
know.
date.
Sorry.
I mean,
Sorry,
not.
Janine. I did not know Glenn had anybody back here. Hey, this guy's great. This guy's the best. This guy's the best.
Well, he can catch well. I know that much.
yeah. All right.
Well-
Sorry about. All right. I'm gonna go back. to the
No,
front line.
sorry.
I'm
This
sorry.
is your place of business. Come in as you and
it's
throw
okay.
throw those jars as you need to. I'm so sorry. I don't know what. I gotta be honest.
It's
this is
okay.
just a very.
I knew this kind of stuff.
I thought
would
you were
happen.
an accountant when we
I mean,
met
I am.
in the grocery
I
store
account
line.
for a lot of sperm. I was just wondering. I did want to know what did
Hey, Glenn.
this whole
Hey, Glenn.
wall-
I got it. I got a jar for you, buddy. Just filled up a jar. Fresh jar for you, pal. Here.
Oh,
Go deep. Go deep. Go long,
Wow.
baby.
Oh, you smashed into the wall.
It did that one smashed into the wall of cum.
Oh,
So now
man.
there's just some of his
Call it
cum on the
cum.
wall.
I worked hard on that jar.
Yeah.
Wait, so can I ask a question? Did he fill the jar, or somebody else did it and then he threw it?
No, he
Other
filled
people
that
here were
one.
just
Yeah.
himself?
No, we're not supposed to. I've been working a lot lately because I kind of went against the rules. I really wanted to show off this wall of cum that is normally a bunch of cum from other people, but
So
I had
you didn't catch it on
what's
purpose.
Up? Hey guys, hey, are you a new hire? What are you doing here?
I'm on a date.
Oh, dude, good
My
work,
name's
Glenn.
Janine.
Hey, Janine, I'm just in here to grab my lunch. I leave it in the fridge. These fridges are amazing because they're made to keep the sperm in here at a certain level, so it's super safe. Hey, have you seen our wall? It looks like a
Yeah.
Jackson Pollock, huh?
I was
Roy,
just
I
looking
really
at
hope
it.
you're not putting any of the sperm in the fridge because it kills the specimen and we can't actually use it. I really hope
I'm not
you-
a scientist. I just work here. I'm in marketing. I don't know shit.
Yeah.
You market these items?
Yeah, you think
I didn't
people
know
just
we had a
brochure?
marketing department.
When was the last time you were at home going, you know what? I need a stick of butter, some milk, and oh yeah, I need a couple of ounces of cum. You don't until I tell you that you need it. Then you're like, I need cum. Once I plant that in you, you're like, I need more of that. The more cum
Can
I
you
plant
not
in
say
you, the more you
plant
want
that in you? I'd appreciate. Anyway.
Well, it's just the
it's
germinating
fine.
of the idea. It's like I plant
gotcha.
the seed, as it were. That's a double entendre. Because seed can
I
mean two
underst-
things.
I-
That's a marketing
Yeah.
thing. I'm good.
Yeah, oddly enough, only men work here.
That does seem actually not odd at all. It
Yeah, I
seems
guess
very
not.
straightforward,
Yeah.
especially with all the tossing of the jizz on
Yeah,
the walls.
yeah, they
Do you guys
toss.
want me to stay here or
That's
should I go eat my lunch
Alley-oop.
elsewhere?
you can.
Hey,
you're-
Glenn, you
it's everybody's
is
break
your
room.
lady friend here? Is Janine sticking around for lunch or?
I
What
don't
is it
think
like-
so.
We were just gonna have a cup of coffee, but
Okay.
uh,
Do you want us to get out of the
hold
way?
the cream jokes,
Should we make
guys.
this like the Glenn zone? You knew that joke was on its way.
I
See,
did.
I can.
I did, Barry.
Yeah.
You, okay.
I can straighten up my act.
I think
for
today I
Janine.
won't have cream. I'll just take a black cup of coffee.
Oh, but okay, Barry, go ahead.
Are
If she has,
you sure?
Yeah, no, it's
Once you have your coffee black, you're never gonna go back.
Yeah,
Oh,
See, come on, it's another sperm
wow,
bank
I
joke.
walked into that one.
Come on.
yeah, you did.
No.
That was my fault.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'm not
It's
really a
perfectly fine. Hey,
humorous
oh.
person.
I will also tell you might not want to lean on that wall.
Yeah, we around here we actually, instead of say the common saying is you got egg on your face.
So midway through the date, the police just burst in and arrested everyone and threw everyone in
Yes.
jail?
It was illegal, the whole thing. It wasn't even the guy who was doing the marketing was apparently just like copying. He was just doing hand scrawled cum jokes on a piece of paper that he folded up and then handed around town. It wasn't even a real thing. And they were throwing jizz at the wall, which I assume was just their own, because God knows where else they would have gotten it. That means they just like sat around for months and months, jizzing into cups and then throwing it at a wall. And then I meet this guy. I mean, I thought it was going to be something. He's really cute.
Oh, yeah, he sounded so nice when you were telling me about him, but...
He even
and-
seemed nice up until the police broke into that place.
Okay.
Come to think of it,
well,
really didn't look like a lab either.
I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you.
I will say this kind of thing doesn't happen on Plenty of Fish. So next time, if you're looking for online dating, going with a reputable provider, has
Amelia-
its pluses.
You're right, and I should have tried Plenty of Fish the first time.
Yeah, it's all hindsight is 2020.
Well, I did have a match. I got on Plenty of Fish last night, and I got a match.
So I heard things didn't work out with you, Plenty of Fish. This is crabs in a bucket. We're much better. We're the reputableness of reputable companies.
That's
so if
good,
you
'cause
like
the
dating,
guy
you like being. Go ahead.
Oh. No, you go. Sorry, I want crabs in a bucket.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, if you want to have someone hold on to you and never let go of you, every time you think you're out, you just get pulled right back in. Bucket of crabs is where you should be.
So somebody from the website came to your house and started
Yeah.
telling you about it?
You know what? I really think he was associated with that cum guy.
Yeah,
The whole thing is like, I think it's all tied together. Because what?
like,
I mean, what are the chances?
in the way that you were saying his dialogue, you did sound a lot like that marketing guy.
I think it was the marketing guy. In fact, I think he was just wearing a false mustache. I think you're right. I think it was the same guy.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just over here at this next table, and I will say, what you're saying, it's actually not so strange. The exact same thing happened to me.
Oh, no.
I had joined... I had joined a website, and then the next thing I know, some guy from the New York Times was coming over to my house. His name was Will Short, and he was like, hey, what's an 8-letter word for a tentacled sea animal? And I was like, what is even happening here? He would not leave until I told him what a 2-letter word for lava was, and it started with an A. That guy was so sometimes them websites, when they track you with those cookies, they really do track you with those cookies.
Wow, that is really good to know. What is the 2-letter word for lava that starts with A? Oh.
Wait,
It's
wait, 2 A's right next to each other?
2 A's right next to each other.
doesn't
They
sound
do it
right.
when they're in a pinch. I mean, the guy's he's a complete psychopath. All right. I mean, I think he might have been the Zodiac killer. All those words and letters and all that puzzling.
That's crazy.
I'll say it right now in the middle of this Cracker Barrel. Will Shorts is the Zodiac killer.
We got another cipher. I gotta say, it seems like half these questions are the same ones every time, and the thing like Charlie Chaplin's daughter Una, like this is the only place I ever use that back. But I've used it here like 5 times. A horse called a roan. Like, come on, this guy. Frankly, I gotta say, he's losing his magic. I mean, he's still killing people, but the ciphers are losing their magic.
Oh yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, like, I don't want to correct them, I mean, but I mean, let's honestly, you're losing your. Put some oomph in it.
Exactly.
Honestly, these magazines that he's pulling from. This is obviously Vogue.
You're right.
This is Vogue.
Clearly.
It's clearly vibe. This letter. This. Come on.
Before I kill you, I want you to tell me as many 2-letter words that you know.
It, an,
I can't use it.
axe, to, by.
The kids these days don't know enough vocabulary.
Honestly, you do have to respect a crossword puzzle where they're all 2-lettered. Because that means everything has to connect. Like, there's no way for them to stick out. Like, they all just have to kind of run into each other.
Merge in. It's like Tetris minus, if everything was just cubes.
Oh, man, you should work in marketing. That is really good. Tetris minus it's everything cubed. Like, I would buy that game. I will buy that game.
Welcome back to This American Life. Act 3. Everything is marketing. Are you being marketed to? Or is it marketing you? How does it really play out? No one knows. In our first act, we met a woman in a jizz factory for some odd reason. That story didn't go anywhere. Act 2.
Excuse me, I have the giggles. This is very unprofessional.
Legit.
Man, I thought I was going to get to try out my Pitch Perfect Sarah Koenig impression.
It had to be as good as my Aria, I'm sure.
Ira.
That too, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is this where we find out that SMB is dyslexic? Or is it BMS?
No, I'm still alive.
Okay. All right.
Okay, great.
So who's got another extremely memorable date?
I've been on so many damn first dates. I have a couple stories.
Well,
Let's
pick
go
one.
for what was the most fun?
Well, okay. So this was literally the first person I ever went out with on Tinder. And what's funny, like, it was so long ago now, and up until recently, I'd never been on another date from Tinder. So I met one person over 8 years, and finally I've just got out with someone else. So this is the very first person I ever go out with on Tinder, on any online app. It was 2016. I was doing a lot of stand-up. We go find out she is also a stand-up comedian. We go to an open mic in North Hollywood to begin our first date. And I had just gotten back from a road trip, and I'm trying new stuff, and talking about how I was driving through the middle of nowhere in Nevada and had rabbits running across the highway, and I was freaking out because I was murdering rabbits left and right, just on this dark 2-lane highway. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it was fine, I've been working out. She gets up and she's like, I've been on over 100 Tinder dates. And I was like, you don't even care. You're not even here for this. This is, I'm just another notch, another joke, another something. But what was funny is that ended, and we kept talking, and then we went somewhere else and had drinks. We ended up going kind of migrating the date. It was actually fun, and she was nice, and she wanted to go out again, but I also didn't think she liked me. It was a very weird night, and we did go out again, and then we did go out again.
That is the most positive. That is the most positive Sarah Silverman story I've ever heard.
So she, honestly, I was like, was her name Carrie? Because there was also a stand-up that I dated who we wound up going on a date to an open mic. But when she was like, oh, I like you, I want to go out again, what made you be like,
she never said those words.
Lying.
She never said those words. Those words never came out. Rarely hear those words.
So, when someone says, I would like to go out with you again, I would like to take time out of this one life I have to spend time with you again, you assume it's because they're like, they don't like me.
No, I can't. It was a long time ago now, so I don't really remember what it was about that night that gave me the impression that she wasn't interested. Usually, the desire to go out again is a good indicator. Mm-hmm. Although, so hard to say. But what's funny, I remember her, she was not, somehow we're friends on Facebook. Even though after going on 2 dates. I think she added me very quickly. And she's much more successful now. Works. Yeah, yeah. I've had that happen.
Super.
I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not interested at all. But I will say, the rabbit murdering, very intriguing.
Oh, it's not like a thing that I do that was just happened.
Oh.
Just happened.
Oh. Okay, because
I'm not trying to make a habit of that.
I was going to go on a second date with you just based off the rabbit murdering and otherwise having absolutely no interest in you whatsoever, but I'm already kind of second guessing that at this point. If you told me you were going to murder more rabbits,
I could murder more rabbits. We could make that a thing.
Okay,
we could do that.
Now we're negotiating. I'm interested again.
We could go on a road trip. I remember where it was. It was. I imagine that's a thing they do. Running across this highway.
Okay.
We could just.
So a spot.
Rabbit.
This is great. All right, yeah, because you do physically repulse me, but the rabbit murdering is very attractive to me. So it's a mixed bag, but I'm into this.
Brownie, get your ass in here. Man, there's rabbit murdering going on there's a lot of us still running across this highway.
It's like fucking Watership Down out there, man.
It is like Watership Down. It is. Hey, we're all not gonna make it back. Stop crying,
We're
Brownie.
supposed to be so fast. We're supposed to be so fast.
We are fast. We are fast. But those cars, those automobiles, they're faster. We got to, the only way we got to multiply, we got to fuck our way into, the only way we can survive is to create more. You ain't gonna make it, Brownie.
No, but after all I've seen, you expect me to go have sex? Come on. These feet are supposed to be so lucky.
Hold me.
They're
Hold
supposed
me,
to be
Brownie.
so lucky.
Hold me, Brownie. This all we have is this moment. All we have is this moment.
Hey, was this the meeting of the torrid? Oh. Whoops. Sorry,
Get the
I'll
fuck out of
Get the
here.
I'll
fuck
see
out of here,
myself
God
out.
damn it.
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
He's walking so slow.
Oh,
Can you leave
look,
the
those cars are just going right past him. They're going around him. What the? Oh, ugh. I hate that guy so much.
If only we could like hop on his back, like a scorpion.
Wait.
What
if
like the
that's how we
scorpion.
started getting around? It'd be slower, but we could just ride turtles everywhere. I mean,
Brownie, you're
come on,
onto
people
something.
clearly respect them.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, no, they don't have people don't say, "Hey, let's." I get turned on by murdering tortoises. That's just weird.
That's so weird.
Now, if you could throw tortoises into the mix here, I might be willing to go back to your place.
We could do some off-roading. We could go find them, and just run them down, or I mean, you could buy little ones at Petco too, and I think we could just throw them in the street.
I still find just looking at you so gross and repulsive, but this talk of rabbit and tortoise murdering has me.
Oh my god, I thought we were safe, and then that guy in the overalls came out and stepped right on that fucking tortoise and kicked him so hard. He kicked him so hard. Oh god.
Oh, Django! I called him Django. That was the name I called the tortoise. I was like, oh, when he got kicked, I was like, Django, no!
I
He's
wish
so
I had made
slow.
different choices in life. I wish I had nothing different.
Hey.
Why didn't I make that left turn at Albuquerque? Oh god.
Don't you think about that. That's the past. That's the past. Albuquerque,
All right, okay.
it's all just we got to be here in
It's you
this
and me.
moment.
It's you and me, man. It's you and me. All right.
Here,
I think we
wipe
can
the
make it.
blood. Wipe the blood off your face. Get the blood off
I'm
your
so
get the-
pink.
Yeah, get all the tortoise blood off of you.
Oh god. Oh.
Now, we're
All
going
right.
to make it across this highway. We are going to make it across this fucking highway. Because
You
on
and
the
me
other
together,
side,
Bugs, all right?
you and
me together, on
You
three.
and me together. 1,
All right. 2.
2, 3.
Wait. Bugs, tell my story.
Oh,
Don't be
Brownie!
witty.
No!
Tell them when the medical professionals get here. Tell them what's up, Doc.
Legit.
Legit.
Oh gosh, that was something.
I do want to say at this, at this time in my life, this thing, I was driving, these. You can't swear. I don't know. I was really freaked out about this, about these rabbits. Because also, when I got on that highway, it was beautiful. There was, before sundown, just beautiful stretches. No other car on this highway. And then the sun went down, and it's pitch dark, and there aren't even lights on the highway, just my headlights. So and that's when the rabbits weren't there in the daytime. It was just at night. Eventually, I'm seeing deer crossing signs. I'm like, I've already seen the rabbits. I'll kill a little rabbit. But I'm driving a 2009 Prius. It is made out of fiberglass. I will die if the deer runs out in this highway.
Yeah.
So
where was this stretch of highway, and when was this?
this was
What time of year?
This was in March. I think, and
So
and this is
springtime.
driving north from
Yeah.
Las Vegas to Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, springtime is when rabbits begin to regret all their life choices.
Yeah, they get the most suicidal. Yeah, exactly. I bet you didn't notice because you were so freaked out, but there are a lot of little tiny notes attached to your car too.
I did not. Oh, God. That would have been awful.
Speaking of things that are awful, capitalism. Michael Heiman, who's our sponsor for this episode.
Oh, here it is. I'll just play the tape. Do you find yourself looking at the fruit in the supermarket and thinking, this fruit isn't normal enough? Well, now, with normal oranges, you can have a completely normal orange experience. Have you had a sumo orange? Look at those ridges, those wrinkles. Even your average orange has too much texture. These normal oranges are completely smooth, uncannily smooth. It's not suspicious at all. There's not even a stem a point from where the stem was there. You don't need to look too closely. They are very normal oranges, just eerily normal. They roll pretty much normally if you were to roll them. You don't need to roll them, just eat them like a normal orange, because these are normal oranges. Just ask famous Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield. What's wrong with these oranges? Go back to whatever insurance commercial you were in before, Baker. We're taking our money back. We told you not to be suspicious about the oranges. So normal oranges, when you go to your grocery store, ask for normal oranges. They will not be in the produce aisle. Just eat them, okay?
Smooth for her disappointment.
I will say it's the most reputable orange I've ever heard a commercial for.
As far as dates go, you know, I always think, because like the most memorable obviously is like that first date with my wife. We were having dinner with some friends and we were just telling that story last night. But I think I'm going to tell the story of the last other first date I went on.
Ooh.
Because I had, in January of that year, an incident with a friend of Chris Compton's and I. A buddy had defriended me on all social media after a New Year's Eve party, and I woke up that morning and I was like, I need to start dating again. I need to get more female energy in my life. And so I signed up for eHarmony, and my wife was the second eHarmony date I went on. The first eHarmony date I went on.
Can I take us back for
really
1 second?
Oh, yeah.
What happened that night that he defriended you? Like, I feel like we just kind of brushed past a big story point.
You know, that is not germane to this story. And it's something I will let that
may result in future defriending.
Yeah, I will let that live in mystery. But I will say this: I can credit him for me having met my wife.
All right.
So I will give him that. If it wasn't for him, and we are great friends to this day. But at this point, I was like, I gotta date. So the first woman that I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna date. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I have a type, or I'm just gonna meet. And I'm like, anybody who seems like they are smart, I am going to say yes to, because I know that the thing that I need most is someone who I can have a conversation with. And so there was this woman who whose name was Rachel, not Chris's wife. But that would be a story. That would be a defriending. But fascinating. She owned her own tattoo parlor. And I was like, well, this is definitely something that when people see me, they're not like, you know what? He seems like somebody who'd be into somebody who owns their own tattoo parlor. I'm more like the kind of person who it's like, that person can probably tell me a lot of facts about tattoo from the TV show Fantasy Island. And so we meet at the Dresden Room in Los Feliz, and I get there and she is like an hour late, which I am like, you know what? This is not going to work, because I'm usually the person who's an hour late. This is going to be a nightmare. But we get there and we have a great conversation. It's super fun. And at the end of the date, there's this chaste kiss at the end, but it's like, okay, it's like definitely a kiss. It's definitely like a, hey, I'm interested kind of thing. And it's like, okay, we're both kind of like, yeah, maybe. All right. But okay, I'm going to go. And then I get home and I know I've got to be at work early the next morning. And the whole thing is I've got to be at work early because there's this meeting about like teaching kids about responsibility and teaching kids like character and how to do the right thing. And that's when the text messages start pinging of her being like, you know what? Why don't you come over? Come on, nothing's gonna. Maybe we'll just come over and make out. That was a great kiss and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. But I'm like, that. She's like, no, come on, little baby. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm sorry. She's like, meet my dog. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. And like at the time, I was just like, dumbass. God, I can't believe this. Because once again, when you're a guy who knows a lot of facts about Tattoo from Fantasy Island, you don't get a lot of texts at midnight saying, come over and make out with me. And I was like, I can't believe I'm politely saying no to this. But it worked out because the next date I went on was with the lady who is in the other half of this house. Yeah.
Which does make it sound like you're in a Lucy episode and you have drawn a line
and she can't cross this tape even though the bathroom's on my side of it.
And the important thing is we're both going to switch jobs for a week.
Yeah. But unfortunately, somebody came and took our Christmas presents.
Wait, when my boss is coming over for dinner.
Oh no, I can't get this trope machine to stop.
Like, I was trying to think of that too, and like I think everybody perhaps there's a level of preserving self-interest by I'm going to talk about a date of the person I'm currently in a relationship with. But no, like I was thinking like first date with my wife, and it was like what I always remember about it is. We went to Tom Bergen's, this like Irish bar up on Fairfax, and it was a Thursday, and I was like had $0 in my checking account, but I had direct deposit at my job, and so come midnight, I was gonna get paid. So I'm like, I'm gonna stretch out this date as long as possible, so I don't have to pay my tab until after midnight, like. To the point where I'm
genius.
Like probably risking the whole relationship and like this boring motherfucker. But it worked. It worked. I made it to like 12:02 and I'm like, check please. But managed to get away with that like thing that like your dates in your 20s are like, whew, I managed to go an entire 3 hours without her having any idea who I actually am. And so, like, but I also, like, the other thing I was thinking about that is, like, how much of my 20s were defined with the art of being broke. Mm-hmm. And, like, I have all these skills that I practiced really well. And, like, now, knock on wood, have not had to hold off a Tom Bergen's bartender. So, but yeah, it's like,
I need a refill on this club soda.
I am so glad you decided to go out with me, I really appreciate you coming with me to my P.O. box and just hanging out by the P.O. box for hopefully not too much longer. Just as a general funny bit of information, my residual checks get delivered to this P.O. box. So yeah, it's a little bit of information about me.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get my mail.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me step aside here. Yes. All right.
You do enjoy yourself.
Okay. All right.
I'm really I'm happy to do anything because I just got out of jail. I'm happy to see any kind of civilization. I just got busted with a wall of cum. So. But sorry, I buried the lead. I accounted for a wall of cum, but
you didn't
kind of illegally.
You need to explain yourself. Although you can if it will eat up some time while we stand here.
I would just keep track of. Yeah. I would just keep track of all the cum that my colleagues would insert into various canisters. Well, we really only had one size cup, just clear. Okay. You know those cups.
I'm glad you went with canisters there because I wasn't sure where that was going to land.
Yeah, but they would toss it across the room, and I was pretty good at catching. So,
okay, so you really weren't sure where it was going to land. All right, yeah,
right. Yeah, I really thought things were going well, and I even I was putting in a lot of hours, and actually my last relationship ended there. Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow, bringing up your last relationship on the first date. That's it's a gutsy move right there.
Prison's a tough place.
Yes. Oh, I know. I have played a prisoner in several TV shows, actually, so I am very familiar with how bad the prison system is, at least from my research, which was mostly just watching Oz, but I figured that had it pretty accurate.
Hey, new fish.
Yeah. What,
Yeah. Welcome.
What's up?
Yeah, new fish.
Should I look you in the eyes?
Look
Should
me
I
in
down? What am I?
look me in the fucking eyes when I talk to you, new fish.
Wow, you.
Welcome to the clink, motherfucker.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. We're polite here in this prison.
I get that.
You're welcome.
I
You're
appreciate
welcome, new fish.
Thank you, sir.
A new fish. A new fish.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me.
Yes. What's up?
I was wondering if you would accept this rose and perhaps possibly become my bitch.
I feel like it's really early in the season to start accepting. Not that you're not a catch. Let me just say that up front. But
I understand.
I just don't. It's so.
Why don't you think about it? You do have a lot of options.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're definitely in contention. Thank you, sir.
Damn, new fish.
Yeah. Yes.
You handled that with grace.
I want to respect the humanity that is in everybody, and I want them to feel that, and I just want to respect everybody.
Yo, new fish.
Whoa, God, you're
new
huge.
Fish.
Yes, what? Yes.
That's
yes.
right.
Yes.
I'm 400 pounds.
Yes.
9 feet tall.
And
I want to give you these ramen packets, because that's what we use for currency here in the fucking clink, new fish. Excuse my language.
No.
I didn't mean to swear. I want you to have these ramen packets.
Hey, if that's the
my
lexicon,
compliments.
I appreciate that, and you needn't apologize for your lexicon. I understand if that's the parlance of the area we're in. That's what we say. That's what we fucking say.
I only
but I will
use
say this.
the F word when I feel comfortable.
Oh, well,
that's my cat.
Well, so you really did join Plenty of Fish.
Yeah, I did.
It sounds like you had a great date.
It was actually, you know what, I kind of took on this persona that I didn't even know was in me. And it turned out to be really fun. And they let me stay in the prison the whole day.
That is amazing.
I made friends. I mean, a lot of friends. I have so many pen pals now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
I did have to ask you a question.
Yeah.
The way that you were doing the dialogue of the new fish, he sounded a lot like the marketing guy from...
My God.
I mean, it was just in the way that you were pronouncing it, like in the way that you were saying it, but it really came across like that same sound.
I cannot believe this has happened to me 3 times. It was him. It was the marketing guy. He was in the prison.
I'm not superstitious, but I think the universe is trying to tell you something.
I gotta go back to that first jizz guy, don't I?
I think so.
I'm gonna call him.
I'm sorry, ma'am. You seem so upset. You just came running in here to this post office like you're looking for somebody. But I'm sorry. If you were looking for the
I heard
the
he was
guy
here.
It was just...
It's just guy.
Just in here.
He's the love of my life.
He's right outside, but you better hurry. It just started to rain.
What?
It just started to rain.
Oh
so
my God.
you should probably hurry up and get out there.
Barry! Barry, where? Barry? Barry?
Hey, wait, hold on. Did you mean me? I'm Barry. That's
No.
Glenn. Glenn, this guy's the best.
sorry. I
This guy's the
screwed
best.
up the
Glenn
name.
is the best. This
what I
guy's
meant.
great. Go ahead.
named
I'm gonna
Glenn.
get out of your way.
I was so traumatized by that jizz experience that I swapped your names. Listen to me, Glenn.
I don't know who's talking. My
Something.
face is just dripping right now.
I know, it's because of all the rain.
Oh, that's rain?
Yes, rain. I think so. Listen to me, Glenn. I wanted to tell you something.
I'm just
You
going
need
to
to
go back
tell me this.
inside and wait for my residuals.
Who
Let
the
me
hell
know
is
if we're
this?
going to go to dinner
Who's
after
this
this.
person?
It's fine. I'm not that committed.
You know what?
Side with me.
They don't matter. They didn't show interest at all. And I told them about an entire wall of cum, and they just
They didn't respond to the wall of cum.
Didn't no,
But
they didn't
listen to
even
me.
care.
I gotta try. I have to admit something to you. I've been dreaming about that wall of cum for the last 5 years, the entire time that you've been in prison. And I just have to tell you, without any agenda here, I have no agenda, that it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It was like art. And I really think that you were onto something. And that's all I wanted to say.
This is just all so sudden, and I feel like I should just turn around and walk away because you might be too late, but the more I think about it, you came right on time.
So what would you do in this situation? Probably kind of in a pickle, right? Not with the new fish system of letting people down gently. You just look them in the eye and go, maybe later, it's a little early in this season. Or you could finish it off with a pun like he did, but it's easier, I think better, if you just give them some sort of gentle push off and, let's kick this can down the road.
Hey, quiet down. You're in solitary for a reason.
Legit. This Shawshank sequel is amazing.
It's longer than the original.
They are getting busy living for sure.
Yes. Two Shaw, two Shank.
Oh, there's an episode title right there.
I don't mean to put any pressure on our female identifying member of the cast, but men are notoriously awful. Do you have a date story?
Oh yeah.
You know, God, I've been literally racking my brain, sitting here thinking of, because the problem is that the most memorable ones are not good, and I just don't want to
how you got your brain onto the rack during the last scene. You kept it going the whole time. It was very impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just don't. I like the memorable ones are bad, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus of having them be bad. And they're and the good ones are like, I ended up in these very long relationships, and so remembering them is, this isn't really a date. This will go back. Okay, I'll tell you. This one was bad. This was in high school. There was a guy I liked. I don't know why I'm going to tell this. Whatever. Here we go. There was a guy I liked. He was in my high school. He was like a skateboarding dude. I was very into, around that age, I was like, guys with skateboards are cool. I'm into it.
You're right.
And I don't remember all the exact details. All I remember is that we spent most of the day with me crouched on the front of his skateboard and him holding on my shoulders. That's how we got around. Because I was literally like on the front of his skateboard and he was kicking us around and I was going, and I definitely thought we were going to crash. We didn't. It was fine, but it was also very kind of weirdly demeaning. But then later, and he was really hyper confident about the whole thing. And I started this date thinking he was really great, and then I ended the date thinking this was a horrible mistake. But the thing that really capped it off, he solely talked about himself the entire night. Like, there was never a question asked to me. There was never a nothing. It was not about me. I was just a receptacle for him having a monologue about his own self. And then at the end of the night, he was very confident about kissing me goodnight, and he had been chewing gum the whole night. And he went to kiss me, and I remember thinking, like, there's something that happens with girls around that age too, where it's like, you don't really know how to say no yet. You don't really know how to, like, you're just stuck, kind of, especially when you've already spent hours with this person. Like, that wouldn't happen to me now, but like back then, you just don't know. So, like, he goes to kiss me goodnight, and I'm like, this will be over in a second, Jen. Then you can go inside and go to sleep. And so he kisses me, and then he goes, wait a minute, and then pulls the gum out of his mouth and holds it in his hand. And then I was like, there's not going to be any more. I think I'm done. And then I was like, I'll see you tomorrow. And then it was just very awkwardly I think it's safe to tell this story because it's from so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've had some really bad dates that weren't like bad in the sense that somebody, like something bad happened. It's just like over the course of the date, I realized that this person was
I've
like,
made a mistake.
I've made a mistake in saying yes, or they presented themselves in a certain way, and then at the end of it, they're taking gum out of their mouth before. And also, the kiss was bad. It was just a big open mouth coming straight for my face. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And there was no. He was
I've
also.
seen Alien.
He was a teenager too, and it was just like a lot of like. I don't think he was even on my mouth. The whole thing. It was like I was being resuscitated. I don't know. This isn't a good story. I don't have
No, this is a
good.
very good
I
story.
just don't know how to
Yeah.
like. The ones that are really good are good almost because they're not memorable. Because it's just like, we had great conversations. The vibe was there.
Yep.
At the end of the night, we liked each other. It was. I don't know.
I was thinking about the positive angles too, because like that, and oftentimes they're less memorable. But I actually do have an angle on that.
Okay.
So I many years back, I met someone on OkCupid. And we kind of hit it off, and it's like, all right, well, let's get together this Saturday. I was going to like a backyard barbecue thing with friends, and she actually agreed to go to that, which is already like a big deal to like go to your friend's thing. Is like that's not a neutral ground, but like she was down for that, so that was cool. And the night before, she messages me and is like, "Hey, have you ever seen the movie The Apple?" And I don't know if anyone knows The Apple, but it is...
The disco movie?
Yeah, it is a cult sensation
yeah.
that's almost like a Rocky Horror, but accidentally enjoyable instead of intentionally so. It's terrible, but it has such an amazing cult sensation following to it. And it's absolutely worth watching and hating and loving at the same time. But I'd never heard of the film before, and I was like, no, I haven't. She's like, well, I just found out from a friend on Facebook that it's playing at the New Art tonight. Would you like to go with me to that, a night early? It's like, sure, great. Like I have no plans. I want to meet this person sooner, and this sounds cool. So I showed up a little bit before she did, and I'm walking along the line, and I see a group of friends of mine, like three of my friends, already there. It's like, so we chat, and it's like, and one of them steps away to go get his tickets, a friend named Jim. And at this point, the person that I was there to meet shows up. I recognize her from the photos, and we introduce ourselves, and I introduce her to my friends. It's like, oh, these are friends of mine, and somewhere around here is Jim too. And like there was a look on her face, and like Jim's not like an unusual name, but she reacts to it slightly. And then my friend Jim Newman walks up, and they know each other already. They're already friends. And so it's already this, like, what the hell, weird connection. And then we figure out that we have another mutual friend, J. Keith Van Straten, who is the one that it was his Facebook post about the movie that night that she had seen. That was the reason she knew about it at all. So we suddenly have all these mutuals. We go to the movie. It was really fun in a terrible way. Afterwards, we'd go out to like a cafe. We're up to like 4 a.m. talking and enjoying each other's company. And it's years later, possibly after we got married, because this is my wife, that she does mention when I'm telling this story to people how annoyed she was that I invited all of my friends to our first date. Apparently, I had not quite worded that introduction correctly, and she thought that those people were there with me as opposed to me having run into them. So,
but this dual interpretation lasted years.
Yes.
Before you got any.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
We got married despite what an apparently bad first date I was, from her perspective.
I kind of sticking both of those together. I had two different dates with two different women from my early 20s that I thought were bad dates, and then now that I'm in my 40s, I was like, oh, because on both of these dates. So one of them was with this woman who I met her at a party, and it was this party that like my roommate and I were at, and it was full of these Hollywood douchebags. And there was one guy who kept talking about how he just got his production company, and he was like, blah, 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 blah. And so my roommate and I started fucking around at the snack table being like, I thought being a doctor was going to be great, but now that I got my law degree, it's even better. But I think being an astronaut is really going to be the thing that, and this woman walks up and it's just like, you guys are so full of shit. And I was like, yeah, we are. And so we invited her to this party at the house, and it's great. And then and she comes over and she's hilarious and fun. And I was like, hey, we should go on a date. And she's like, yes. And I was like, that is surprising. Excellent. But then I go to meet her at her house, and there's another dude there, and there's another dude there who joins us for dinner. And like, I'm quietly fuming the whole time, right? I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. What the fuck is this? Right? And so then, end of the night, like, this guy leaves, and she's like, oh, I'm supposed to be going to the Emmys. Let me show you this dress. And I was like, actually, you know what? I gotta go. Bye. And so I left. And then there's this other date that was not great. This woman, ugh. Anyway, but she comes to my house. She's meeting me at the house, and we're supposed to go out and go to this place. But I go downstairs to meet her when she's picking me up, and she's brought a friend with her. And I'm like, oh, hey, all right, okay, great. So in my 20s, I was like, this is bullshit. Now I'm in my 40s, I'm like, oh, these women didn't know that I wasn't a monster. And they were like, hey, you know what I'm going to do my first time hanging out with this strange man? I'm going to bring someone else. And so like now I'm like, oh, I wish I could go back to that, Steven, and be like, hey, there's a lot of stuff about being a woman in the world that you have no idea about. Let me just hip you to this. Because later on, when that guy leaves and she wants to try on her Emmy dresses, that's her way of saying she wants you to stick around, dumbass.
Yeah. You've correctly identified how good the paintings are. Like,
yes.
Touche.
I will say go back to the ones that you were talking about, Jen, like throughout college, I had people try to set me up all the time. And my friends took a very unhealthy interest in my dating life. And like most of the time those dates were like a good, like to go, it would be awkward and weird. And at the end of it, I'd be like, you know what? I'm okay on my own. Like like stuck my head out, revalidated that the world was a terrible place. It's still raining outside. Like I'm going to go back in. So like I think there was it was positivity in that. Like I would leave those dates going like, you know what? I'm doing okay.
I kind of like being on my own. I've never done the dating apps ever because of every horror story I've ever heard. Any woman, I mean, and men too, but mostly my friends are like, don't ever do that. And I just never have. And also I don't know. I mean, I had like such long relationships, both like I had 2 really, really long relationships that didn't, finish, or they did finish. And now I don't know. This is not the topic of this podcast, but like,
it's
I
the
also
difference
just
between
like
loneliness and solitude.
I've never really had the thing where it's like, man, I gotta get on the horse and go out and date. It's like, why? I got the whole bed to myself, all the food's there when I get home. I only do my own dishes. Seems pretty great, sweet deal to me. I don't know. And if I want companionship, I go see my friends. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might
For the
be
frequent
dead
listeners,
inside, though.
you are the perfect medium woman. No, you're a medium woman. Yeah, like in that episode. You get to starfish and have the whole bed to yourself.
That's right.
Perfect
we did talk
medium.
about it in that one. It's kind of true. I don't know. Might be an age thing.
Yeah.
Too. Who knows?
What do you mean an age thing?
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, no, I was talking with 2 good friends, one of whom may or may not be on this podcast, earlier this week at dinner, and we were talking about how like our wives are perfect, but if anything were to happen to them, that would be it, because we're too fucking old to bother trying to date again.
Yep.
But like it would be just like, oh, and I'm done, because it's like, if I'm glad that she is here, and if something were to happen to her, no, thank you. It is exhausting. Yeah.
Looking nice. Ay.
So you want to start a anti-dating website called Plenty of Cum on the Wall?
Correct. I have had a lot of experience in this area, and this is my partner. He's just a friend now. We figured out it wasn't going to work out. He's going to supply the artwork.
Wasn't going to work out, but
And-
What do you think of what's on display right now?
I gotta say, it's it feels like a kind of a ripoff of Jackson Pollock.
I mean, sort of. But I mean, what do you really think of it? I mean, look at the layers there.
Oh,
That's
I
like
like Jackson Pollock, so this is working for me.
It's like
I'm gonna
14
invest.
layers. And all. Oh, that's wonderful. That's great, Glenn. We have our first investor.
That was way
It's
easier
wonderful.
than I
Do
thought.
you take payment in jizz?
What'd you say?
I'm sorry?
Jizz. Do you take you take jizz? Is that the currency? Because I got plenty of that.
You know what? Me, Mark Cuban, I'm going to step in and interrupt my other shark here. And I'm going to say that I will pay you in actual money for 10% stake in your business, $500,000.
Okay, can Glenn and I have a sidebar for a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Hey,
you.
before you have your
I know
sidebar,
that
let me
you
just say
need
this to you. I won't pay for your company with money or jizz, but how about marketing? We do a little switch. You give me money and I give you marketing, huh?
Oh,
Everybody on
my
board?
Oh
God!
my, here he is.
Legit. Oh, and that
Just the way you
brings-
describe that, Jen, I feel like I've seen that guy before.
Oh, and that brings our episode of the Super Legit podcast to a close. Yay! Michael Heiman, let's hear it.
Thank you as always to Matt Walker for our intro and outro music. This episode was hosted by Jet Kaufman, edited by Jet Kaufman and Chris Sanders, and co-hosted by me, Michael Heiman. Every scene you heard today was improvised on the spot, along with some of the ads with only a light touch of editing for your comfort. If you're loving what we're doing, pause real quick, write a 5-star review before you close the app, and tell the people on your dating apps about us. If you want to submit your own question for the show, private message us or tag us on Instagram, Facebook, or Threads, or email us at contact@superlegitpod.com. Tonight's regular cast included Jen Burton, Chris Sanders, Sean Michael Boozer, Chris Compton, Stephen C. James, and our very special guest, Derek Reid. Derek, do you have places people can find you, follow you, look at the stuff you're doing?
Not really. I'm out there somewhere, but Black Spider _man, I think, on Instagram. I don't. Black Spider _man. That's what it is.
There we go. We'll put that in the show notes.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you so
Join
much
us,
for joining
Derek.
us, Derek.
Thank you for
and
hanging out.
everyone else. It's the highlight of my week to see you all and play with you all. Thank you all, and good night.
And good luck.
Guys, my hands are full of cum and there's just no more room on the wall right now.
Here, just wipe him off on that bunny rabbit.
Oh, the dead one. Yeah.
I don't believe anything's on. Oh my time, I kicked the door on its hinges just so I could move on. Oh, oh,
And that's apparently how we end.
And that's how the creature from Donnie Darko was made.
Oh, God. So,
have to
Derek,
put
since
in.
you didn't listen to any previous episodes, I do need to make sure you know that not every episode of the Super Legit podcast is about cum.
Just most of them.
Actually,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I don't think we have had any episode about cum.
Well, not as directly about cum.
Sorry,
yeah,
Derek.
yeah.
I mean, this is really about capitalism.
It's true.
It's all a metaphor.
Very true.
Always.
about capitalism.
I mean, yeah. Much like Watership Down, this whole podcast wasn't about a wall of cum. It was a metaphor for World War One.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Of course. Yeah. I got that. I
Yeah.
got that.
yeah, totally.
It was honestly, it was a
Right
little
away.
heavy-handed. I gotta say, we could have gone more subtle with it.
Really on the nose. Really on the nose.
I think heavy-handed and on the nose are probably not the figurative language we don't want to use here.